Hi, everyone. This is Mr. Jacobson, the athletic director in Washburn. I just wanted to go through a short presentation for parents. There'll be some questions that will be needed to be answered along the side, and there'll be some explanation along with it as well. The first thing I want to do is our trainer is going to be Seth Losis, Sanford athletic trainer. The contact information is there. If there's ever anything you need as far as training is concerned for your child, if there's an injury, something like that, give him a call, or he's in Washburn twice a week, and we'll make sure we hook him up with your student. Also, 7th, 9th, and 11th grade students are going to end up doing concussion testing again this year. And the other students, the 8th and 10th and 12th graders will, if they haven't already done so the year before. Physicals. This has been a little bit confusing, but our 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th graders will need a regular physical this year. 8th through 12 will just need a Form B. So again, if you're 7th grade or below, you'll need a regular physical. If you're 8 through 12 and you've already had a physical this year, then it is or last year, then it is fine. You just need Form B. There's also a signed code of conduct and a handbook form in the handbook that will need to be handed in for each child, and a Sanford care release, just saying that Seth would be able to take care of your child if something happens, like they sprain an ankle or anything like that. Also, there's a mandatory parents meeting, and you're taking part in that right now, whether it's live or virtual. Winter sports restart plan. Governor Burgum announced recently that if both people are wearing masks, only the person that is COVID positive would have to be quarantined. So what that means for us is if we end up having everybody on the bench with masks, if we have everybody in the crowd as far as our players with masks, then if somebody comes down with COVID in that group, only the person with COVID would end up having to go home. It wouldn't affect the whole team. So with our players, coaches, statisticians, they're going to wear face masks while on the bench and obviously in the stands as well. All students will wear masks on the bus at all time unless drinking or eating, again, for that same reason. Washburn fans, players, school officials will follow all COVID rules of other schools we are visiting. We just want to be good neighbors. So when we come in, they should all be very similar. But if they ask you to do something, we hope that we do that. After home and away games, please meet your students outside of the games if they're going to be riding home with you, because we don't want a congestion in the hall. And then there'll be 10 minutes put on the clock, and everybody will need to leave the school area by the time that 10 minutes is over. You have to also realize that these might change depending on the situation, just because we have different government orders. Also, maybe the school board, whatever might be, we might have to change it according. These are for our spectators. These are going to be our guidelines. Masks are going to be required for all fans anytime inside the Washburn School facility, and that's including the gym. And social distancing is also required. The governor just came out and said that our number has to be 50 or lower, but then the North Dakota High School Activity Association said that we could have 2 fans for each player. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of do a little bit of a compromise. We're going to have 2 regional or district tickets for each player for family members allowed. They have to be family members. When you come into the building in Washburn School, there'll be a checkoff, and you'll just say who you're there to watch for, and you will check it off. We really ask you to arrive for your player's game and then leave when it's finished so we can keep our numbers down. Washburn school passes and golden passes will not be accepted, and also no extra game tickets will be available. But we will have everything on the NFHS network under Washburn High School, Washburn, North Dakota. Also, if you refuse to follow any of these guidelines or guidelines when visiting other schools, your pass may be revoked. You're going to end up meeting with me, and at a period of time, if we feel comfortable, then your privilege could be reinstated. Again, if you just go along with what we are asking and what other schools are asking, obviously there won't be an issue at all. But we want to make sure everyone's following the same rules. NFHS network, it's $10.99 a month and $69.99 a year. In our school, at least, We've only had 2 issues with our network in 2 years, 1 this year and 1 last year, so it's been pretty dependable. There might be a little issue with volume or on away games because they're just setting it up but as far as our school, we've been really reliable. If there is an issue with the NFHS network, you might wanna, check your cable or your internet. Coaches will insist that players, managers, and cheerleaders are riding home with the team on the bus unless the parents would like them to ride either to the game or back home with them. Again, you'll have to talk to the coach ahead of time and work out that decision. Also, no player will be able to ride with anybody else other than the parents. If there's something where grandma's going to take them and take them to the house after a game, you'll need to work it out with myself or Mr. Brandt the day before. The key thing there is we want to make sure that we cover ourselves with any liability issues. Coaches are going to communicate with the athletes through Remind. If you're not on Remind, contact one of the coaches and they will make sure that you are involved. Also, if there's something you want to talk to the coach about, talk to them anytime or myself. But if you're upset with a coach, make sure you wait 24 hours and let everything cool down before you contact them. Again, if there's no resolution, you can then contact me as well. Being a sports parent. Being a sports parent isn't easy, but please allow your athlete to work through situations with the coach and try to stay positive and supportive, not only with your child, but also with other teammates and the coach. Try not to say anything negative about other kids or coaches. On occasion, we might have someone that just seems like they're in misery or negativity throughout the season. And we're talking about whether it's parents or any spectators. Try to enjoy the season. You don't want to look back and then say, man, I wish I would have enjoyed it, but instead I was always thinking about the negative.
So, not your best practice. Can we agree on that? It seemed like you wanted to hang out with your friends more than practice. And that's fine if that's what you want to do. You know, just tell me. Because you can do that anytime. Maybe we can skip your next game. Because choosing to waste your time, that's one thing. But wasting my time and your coach's time? That's selfish. You don't care about other people. You don't care about hard work. You don't care about teamwork. That's why you're always on the bench, every time it matters. Your coaches think you're selfish too. Your hockey coach, your soccer coach, your football coach, everyone does. So, if you want to keep playing, you need to take a good hard look at yourself and think about that.
Sad, but often way too true as far as how some people might behave. Chaos and negativity is the enemy of success. If we're positive, if we're supportive, the chances are of success increase a great deal. If we're causing chaos, if we're negative, obviously it's not going to help the situation. Also, keep in perspective. Abusive verbal, physical conduct by anyone will not be permitted. If this happens, make sure you let me know, and that person that is acting in that manner will end up having to be banned from future contests. And then they're going to have to go through a three-step process to come back into the gym. Academics is our top priority. Sports is second. Academics is a right. Remember, sports is a privilege and not guaranteed. So we have higher expectations for non-athletes. And if it gets to the point where a player is removed from a team, we are going to give that player due process, but that decision will still remain final. We want to follow North Dakota High School Activity Association as far as the use of alcohol, tobacco, vaping, all of those type of things. So make sure that any of those type of things are not allowed. Now, when it's all said and done, we also have guilt by association. So if they're around somebody, another student, and they don't leave that situation as quickly as possible, then they could also be in trouble. Also, students are only allowed to fail one class, so make sure that the grades are staying up. And if they're playing up, they're not allowed to play to pass any or to fail any classes. Also, you are not allowed to play outside of the school on another team when you're playing that sport. So in basketball, you're not allowed to play an outlaw basketball team during that same season. Great coaches know that process and effort is what's important. So we want to make sure we're not so concerned about winning, but we worry about the process and effort. If that happens, then the rest will take care of itself. We want the people to take we want the people to and our coaches to worry about fundamentals and skill development. We also want to worry about character education and improving their character. Teach lessons about character throughout practice and don't worry so much about wins and losses. High expectations. We are going to have high expectations because we really do a disservice to the students if you don't. You either get better or worse every day, and we want our students to get better. Also, you're going to have people that either suck energy out of a situation or end up bringing energy to a situation. We want kids that are going to bring energy. We want parents that are going to bring energy. But also, coaches are going to give feedback, so not everything will be positive. These are some of the things that we teach in our character education to make sure that they're improving all the time so they learn from situations instead of repeating those same behaviors. And then finally, the energy bus. Let's bring energy this year. Let's bring positive energy this year, and let's be very supportive of our kids.
I want to encourage you to post a sign that says, "No energy vampires allowed." It's true, not everyone is going to see what you see. Not everyone is going to share your vision. Not everyone is going to believe what you believe. But what I've learned is that your positive energy must be greater than all their negativity. Your certainty, your faith, and your belief must be greater than all the negative energy and doubt. Gandhi said, "I will not let anyone walk through my mind with their dirty feet." And neither should you. Don't allow it.